Hello and welcome to The Big Picture. The last session of the 15th Lok Sabha will commence from tomorrow, with the government facing not only a rather hostile opposition, but also hostility from within its own members. The winter session of the parliament, which ended prematurely as the Congress MPs from Seemandhra region virtually held the house to ransom, are once again gearing up to repeat their performance. The UPA government, which is on its last leg, however, has much at stake during this 12-day session, which is scheduled to end on February 21st. The vote on account on the general budget as well as the railway budget is one of the main agendas of the session. However, for the UPA government, the Telangana Formation Bill, the 6 anti-corruption legislations are high on their agenda. However, whether it would be able to get these bills passed will be looked forward to with a lot of interest. We will discuss today what are the hurdles which the government may face and what it could achieve in terms of passing of the key legislations. To discuss this, I have with me Prof. Saifuddin, the Congress MP, Najma Heptullah, BJP MP, Basudev Acharia, leader of the CPIM in Lok Sabha, H.K. Dua, senior journalist and MP in the Rajya Sabha, and Parsa Venketshwar Jr., senior journalist and editorial consultant at the DNA. Welcome to all of you. Mr. Soos, the question today everybody is asking and the government is also facing is this session of 12 days going to end up like the last session one? Second thing is it going to only be about passing of this vote on account, or do you think the government is interested, or will it be able to achieve the targets which it has set forward to?
You see, vote of account and the railway budget will necessarily be there.
Yes.
My worry is that important legislations are before the both houses of the parliament.
Right.
So, and these legislations are very important. You see, everybody says the menace of corruption has to go. And now, whistleblowers bill, judicial accountability measure, and so many other legislations are money laundering bill, and many these legislative measures are pending for a long time, and the whole nation is wanting us to do something. Let us make these and make this an attempt to achieve something. Hula gulla, those days we have, you see, opposition has done enough to stall the proceedings of both houses of parliament. Let us not remember those bitter days. Let us do our duty to the nation, have the legislations done, and of course there is the legislation which we can, you see, pass with voice vote, because all of us want, cutting across party lines. Everybody says corruption has to, this menace has to go, but let us do our duty, it is in our hand.
Mr. Soos, all that you say is acceptable, but the fact of the matter is that in the last session, as we witnessed, and this session as it is being threatened, the problem seems to be coming from your own party members.
In what way?
The Telangana bill, your Andhra MPs are the ones who created a lot of disturbance in the last session also.
I wish that bill could be discussed last of all. We have very important legislation. Telangana, of course, is a controversial thing. And we must know, there is sometimes you face in life a situation, you want to go ahead, you cannot go. You have to move backwards. So, Telangana has become a controversial issue, but Parliament is, you see, competent enough to deal with that bill. But before that, I don't know the business that will come up very soon. We must do the legislations that will help us to fight the menace of corruption.
So you think Telangana bill is something which can be put on the back burner?
No, I don't say back burner. Let us take the decision on the PC in the house, both houses of parliament. Decision can be taken. It is one way or the other, it has become a difficult proposition. Let us apply our minds and come out of that mess.
Okay.
But my worry is that why should we not pass whistleblowers, you see, legislation tomorrow? You see, there are other anti-corruption measures. Communal violence, you see, should finish in this country. We must pass that bill. And judicial accountability, of course.
Ms. Najma Heptullah, the owners, what Mr. Saifuddin says is that, the that the opposition parties have done enough of disturbance of this during this entire 15th Lok Sabha. Now is the time for all of you to come together and pass certain key legislations. At least do you agree that some of these anti-corruption legislations are something which the opposition parties are also interested in getting it passed?
Bada shukriya.
First, let me correct Mr. Soos. I have a lot of respect for him. But he has forgotten the point you had raised, which he avoided. The Telangana MP belonging to the Congress party didn't let the House run in the Lok Sabha, and the other Telangana MPs in the Rajya Sabha, they didn't let run the House. If they are the opposition, naturally he can call. But we did not disturb the House at all. So he should not just blanketly say the opposition. We passed all the legislation which were important for the nation. We passed the food security, right of education bill, but the bill on corruption we are ready to do it. We did every other legislation which came, important legislation, BJP has always supported. But Mr. Soos, please keep your house in order, keep your block in order, keep your people in order, then you come and speak to the opposition.
Excuse me,
First you take the care of your own people.
Excuse me, Telangana is one issue on which BJP left it to Telangana people. For the rest, they disturbed, always they disturbed the house. I wish they were given constructive opposition. This is my ground.
There is no point in discussing an issue with somebody who does not want to admit what is part of the record.
No, it is part of the record. Whatever has
I
been
will
part
show
of the
you the
record.
record.
So,
Leave
but you cannot deny the record of the Rajya Sabha and the Lok Sabha.
Saifuddin Soos.
Telangana, you can leave. You left
No,
to
but there is
Telangana
no
people,
point in
but for the
arguing
rest,
with me on the...
your members came
Okay,
many a
Najma
time.
Okay, Najma ji, I'll come back to you.
I will tell you one thing, please.
Yes.
There are 39 legislation listed.
Yes.
It is humanly impossible for the government to think
but at least
that
some
in
of them
12 days they will be able to pass 39 legislation.
No, that's not the point.
Some of them.
Najma ji, that's
We
not
are
the point.
against corruption.
No, Najma ji,
the
that's not the
point
point.
is-
No, 1 second. That's
Just
not.
1 second,
No,
1
1 second.
second.
I'll ask.
The
I'm asking
point-
you a question. You can please continue after that. My question is that 39 legislations, humanly impossible in 12 days. All that is fine, especially when you have to pass a vote on account and all that. But the signals which are coming from the BJP leadership is that they are not interested in supporting any other legislation. The only thing which they are interested in is passing of the vote on account. That is where the concern has started in all quarters.
They will repeat their behavior.
If that is what my party has decided, that is what we will do.
That's what.
Why?
Because while
Okay.
this government was sleeping, when rampant corruption was going on in the country,
That is a
they
different-
never thought of bringing that
That is a different- that's a different
only
discussion.
15 days or a month before. No, this is not a different matter.
No,
it's
let
a
me
matter
get-
of great importance.
let me get-
Why they didn't bring this?
No,
bills
let me get
at
Basudev
the right
Acharya.
time?
Let me get Basudev Acharya and Mr. Basudev Acharya. What is your party's stand on all these things? Especially the government is talking about prioritizing the anti-corruption legislations and the Telangana bill, because these are two important legislations as far as they're concerned. Would the left parties support the government in getting these bills passed?
First, what has to be done is house has to be function normally, peacefully. Unless house function normally and peacefully, how can government bring all these bills? We are not against these bills. We are in favor of anti-corruption measures, anti-corruption bills. But government is not at all serious. If government would have been serious, why they have not brought these bills 1 year back? Why at the fag end of 15th Lok Sabha, they are
Yes.
bringing such an important anti-corruption bills. And,
Okay.
and
So, no, but so
government
you are, but
cannot
you're
give
saying
any guarantee
No, but
that
you-
the
I
house
agree.
will function normally.
if the house functions normally, you people are have no problem supporting the anti-corruption legislations. Of course, on Telangana, I'm sure you people have will be opposite.
You see, we are against bifurcation of Andhra Pradesh.
Exactly. So,
Our
but-
party is against bifurcation
Yes,
of Andhra
about
Pradesh.
that- about that
if,
there is no-
if bill is brought before the house, we'll oppose it.
Okay.
We'll oppose it.
Okay, Mr.
But
Dua, Mr.
we want a discussion on each and every bill. We don't want a bill to be passed without any discussion.
Okay,
There should be debate on each and every bill.
okay.
Without debate, we will not allow any bill to be passed.
Okay, Mr. Dua, this Lok Sabha, 15th
Correct.
Lok
I
Sabha, you
agree.
have, Mr. Dua, you have seen virtually most of the Lok Sabha, maybe which has had the 15th Lok Sabha. This Lok Sabha seems to have had its worst performance because we now see that this Lok Sabha has been able to pass only 165 bills in its entire 5-year session, which is the lowest among all the parliaments which has had a full 5-year term. And 72 bills are pending before Lok Sabha. Forget what is pending before Rajya Sabha. So you think that this entire last 5 years has been something of a disaster as far as the functioning of the House is concerned?
You see, Girish, on two things there is going to be no problems. That is on the vote on account.
Yes.
Actually, on one vote on account, there is no problem. Some money is needed
Yes.
for the government to function, country to carry on with the expenses till the new government
New government comes and
takes up the budget and gets it passed. All other bills, even if they're controversial or non-controversial, their fate is uncertain. The reason being there is no consensus between opposition and the Congress party and the UPA. There are important bills.
yes.
For example, anti-corruption measures.
All the anti-corruption legislations. We are talking of Telangana is
Telangana is a
formation
divisive issue.
It's a
Most
divisive
parties-
issue, but as far as Congress party is concerned, it is something which it has become a matter of prestige for it. Do you
Prestige
agree
for
with
the
that?
Central Congress
Central
Party.
Congress party.
State party is divided.
Yes.
On all parties are actually divided.
Right.
Whether they confess it or not, all parties are divided. Not only party lines as such or groups line and all that, simply or territorial lines. This is Andhra MPs will support Andhra,
Telangana
United
MP.
Andhra, and Telangana MPs want separation. Now, it's a kind of surgical operation which has become messy. And nobody knows how to handle it. I don't think any party knows.
So you think
But
that
those with the opposition
yes,
would enjoy the Congress party's discomfort on
Discomfort.
this rather than cooperate in getting it passed, even if they want the separation one day. As this marriage is not going to last for too long into the future. One day it has to come. Then they won't like it to support.
so you don't expect any cordiality in this session as far as the relations between the government and the opposition is concerned.
I don't expect.
You don't
Excepting on the vote on the account. Certainly
Oh.
not. And that will be unfortunate. That will be
Yes, it will
unfortunate.
be unfortunate.
Certainly there are bills on which the difference of opinion may not be that
Strong but
unbridgeable.
Yes.
And even if there is, you can vote against.
Exactly.
Fair enough.
Exactly.
But danger is the discussion may be blocked. That's a sad thing if this Lok Sabha, this parliament session ends with that kind of
yes.
feud and disruption
which we
and
witnessed
adjournment.
in the last session.
Last
also.
several sessions it
Yes,
was
last several
witnessed.
sessions. Parsa, what are the options before the Congress party? You think that they can afford not to get the Telangana bill passed? Can they afford to put it in the back burner, or if they are forced to put it in the back burner? What will be the implication of that on the Congress party, on Andhra Pradesh, the united Andhra Pradesh as we see now?
I think the Congress is set to lose on all counts. They may try to push the bill, even though it is not going to get passed for various reasons, either due to disruptions or because lack of time.
You're convinced that it may not get passed.
I think I'm quite convinced that it may not get passed, and the consequences will be quite drastic for Congress, both in the Telangana region and in the Andhra region, because in the Telangana region they would have lost whatever goodwill they gained after the formation of the Telangana was announced. On the same Andhra side, they would be seen as somebody who wish to divide the state but only failed to do so. So they have no goodwill. So I think Andhra is lost, Andhra Pradesh as such is lost for Congress.
So that is, it is something which the Congress party will have to deal with, and we'll see how they'll deal with. But Mr. Saifuddin Soos, one of the questions which is being asked is, this is the last session of the 15th Lok Sabha. It's virtually, some people call it as a lame duck session. Except for getting this voter accounts passed, though technically and legally and procedurally the government cannot be stopped from getting any of the legislations passed. Morally, you think that it is right on the part of the government to push through very key legislations instead of allowing it to pass and let the new government take it up.
No, see, Mr. Dua nearly came to the situation of suggesting to the opposition that there are important legislations we must legislate, and we must adopt them and agree in national interest. So why should Najma ji take the position, yes, vote on account? There are so many legislations, whistleblowers bill, accountability and other measures. What is the difference of opinion? Cutting across party lines, we are against corruption.
Mr. Soos, the question is, do you have the moral authority to get key legislations passed? Or
No,
do you
I
think
don't know.
that the issue of moral authority doesn't come up at all?
No, the question is that moral authority is one thing that is known to everybody, but sometimes situations arise out of the house itself. Maybe good sense prevails. Cutting across party lines, some legislation should be adopted, should be passed. It is, I feel very sad why it can't be done. Najma ji counted the bills, but we have enough time. We can extend the session every day and work hard and tell the nation that we are alive to the need of the nation.
Okay, let us.
There is nothing personal for Congress. These legislations, judicial accountability, we have been waiting for decades.
I am sure Telangana is something which your party will be very, very eager to get it passed, because I'm sure you will admit that it is a major political question also.
See, any political party, any opposition, any element of the opposition can walk out or may not vote, but they must allow the majority to adopt the legislation. That is democratic.
Okay, Ms. Najma Heptullah, do you think that is one way out of this situation? See, as far as Telangana is concerned, your party has also in principle accepted the division of the state of Andhra Pradesh. Now it is trying to find some loopholes in it. Don't you think that they're playing politics on this after having agreed to the formation of Telangana? And now you're just, as Mr. Dua says that, Mr. Dua says that you would try to enjoy the discomfort of the government.
Naturally, everybody would like to enjoy the discomfort. So is Basudev Acharia also said it. If they were so keen on anti-corruption, on whistleblowers legislation, on any other legislation, why did they not bring it early? 5 years.
It was brought earlier. It was brought earlier.
Why should they bring
it was part of the business. What are you talking? See the business charts earlier.
No.
Whistleblowers was
Mr. Soos, I have been
on the agenda of the
Mr. Soos,
Rajya Sabha.
I have been in the chair. It is
you have been in the chair,
the
but whistleblower was
not
circulated. Please see tomorrow. Whistleblower was
I am
on the
telling
agenda.
you, it is not enough to circulate. It is not.
No, that is
he keeps on talking his
legislation was
there is no point in discussion, because he doesn't want to listen.
No, that's not the point.
He doesn't want to listen, so I don't want to talk to him.
Please talk to me.
The point is, I'm trying to make.
No, please don't talk to him.
Talk to the panel.
No. I'm talking to you, but he should stop talking.
Okay, Mr. Soos,
In
please
the
allow
beginning.
Mr.
All right,
the
tell
thing
me.
is,
Please
the
allow her to speak.
parliamentary He is not allowing me
No,
in the
no,
parliament, he is not allowing me in the house, in the discussion.
You have,
The
you have
main
had,
thing is.
you have had
that
enough
the-
experience, ma'am.
Whatever I have an experience to run the house. I don't have experience to stop
This
the
is
people
a discussion,
from
this is not
interfering.
the house,
I'm only trying to
unfortunately.
bring it to
Okay,
the
Mr.
notice of
Soos, let her
Soos.
please finish.
All right.
Yes, Najma ji, quickly.
With the permission of Mr. Soos, I would like to say something.
Yes, please.
That it is the responsibility of the Parliamentary Affairs Minister not only to list it, but ask the entire opposition and the ruling party together to pass a legislation.
Yes.
When the whistleblowers legislation was only listed, it was not brought for discussion.
No, anyway.
Why?
Anyway,
Why
that
the
is-
anti-corruption legislation
Yes.
was not brought to the House or was
Yes.
not discussed
It
a
was
year ago
listed,
or 2
but
years
House
ago?
was not
the
in order.
corruption is going
House-
on for 5 years.
I think,
Because of disruptions.
I think both of
Then
you are, I
you
think both
keep
of
it
you
in
are,
order.
Najma ji, I
It
think
is-
both of you are right.
I am
Partially both of
stating
you
the
are
fact
right.
it was listed,
it was not
but
allowed
because
to be
of
discussed.
disruption, it couldn't
Okay.
come up for discussion.
Okay, let me get Basudev Acharya. Mr. Basudev Acharya.
Who interrupted?
Mr. Basudev Acharya,
Yes.
you know, you have been part of several Lok Sabhas in the
This
past.
legislation, the major opposition.
Mr. Basudev Acharya, you have been part of several Lok Sabhas in the past. You have been a member for several terms. You know, do you think that this Lok Sabha has been as you know, the statistics indicate that, you know, this has been the worst performing Lok Sabha. Don't you think that as such a senior member you should be concerned about why this Lok Sabha has performed so badly?
I mean, she could rise to the occasion.
Mr. Acharya?
Really, in the leaders meeting, I pointed out this.
Yes.
That I am in Lok Sabha for last 34 years. I have
Yes.
completed 34 years in Lok Sabha. I have never seen, for the first time, 15 Lok Sabha could not get the opportunity to discuss most important problem, burning issue like the suicide committed by the farmers. This Lok Sabha could not get the opportunity to discuss 12 5-year plan. 2 years of 12 5-year plan will be over by 31st March, but Lok Sabha will not get the opportunity, could not get the opportunity to discuss such an important issue, such
Because
an
of the
important
opposition.
document.
Not because
For
of
the
the
first
government,
time
because
this
of the
happened.
opposition.
Really, I am
Do
very
you-
sorry.
No, Mr. Acharya,
I
do
am
you?
very sorry because this session is the last session.
Yes. Mr. Acharya, Mr. Soos says that it is all because of the opposition that, you know, all these things could not happen.
No. You see, in monsoon session, when entire opposition demanded resignation of 2 ministers,
Yes.
and because of that, House could not function. But these 2 ministers resigned
Later.
just after when session was over.
That's right. Okay.
Why? Entire winter session in 2011,
Right.
Entire winter session was wasted as because we all demanded constitution of JPC to inquire into 2G spectrum scam. Government agreed just at the beginning of budget session, next budget session.
Right.
So who is responsible for non-functioning of parliament, non-functioning of house? It is the government is solely responsible for non-functioning
This
of
is absolutely
parliament.
wrong. This is
Okay.
absolutely wrong. God will not never show you.
Okay, let me get an independent voice here, Mr. Dua. Do you agree? You know that, you know, both the
You can disagree democratically,
both
but
the
you cannot
government-
stall the house.
both the government as well as the opposition has been responsible for the state of affairs which we witnessed today.
Yes, in a way, yes. Both are responsible for it. The main problem is, as I was pointing out, there is no consensus on the running of the House on important issues before the nation.
Mr. Dua, you have
Like, issues
before you
like-
became a member of parliament, you have covered the parliament for years together. What is it that was different then, and what is it now because of which you don't find this consensus happening?
There used to be. I started covering parliament since 60s,
Right.
mid 60s. there used to be serious differences between Congress on one side and opposition parties on the other. And the bitterest of the criticism was voiced in Parliament. No quarters are given. But at worst, if some people is not agreeing with the government position,
They walk out.
they will just walk out and come back in 5 minutes' time.
Yes.
Now, they think, well, walkout is no remedy for the situation. They think it's not demonstrative, but there was no television at that time, so they had to be a little demonstrative. So they'll say, no, we will not let the House function. Criticize the government. And if you are majority, then vote it out. Fair enough. That's part of the democratic game. But that kind of tradition has disappeared for the last several sessions. It's not only in the last session. There used to be consensus on some issue. There was no issue like terrorism at that time, but later on it came. Now, on security issues, on foreign policy, on peace in the harmony and peace in the country, and on the running of parliament, there used to be consensus. Come what may, parliament should not suffer. Institutions should not suffer. Now
Right.
there is no concern for the institution suffering. And that consensus, till it is there, the situation which you are facing now in the last session, which should basically be for passing a vote on account, actually it's going to be mini budget.
Exactly.
Mini budget,
But-
and I don't know what the
we'll wait
what the
and
finance
watch.
minister
The
is going
fact-
to come out with.
The fact that you know that the standards, the way the performance of the parliament itself, the Lok Sabha itself, is very clear. 333 bills were passed in the first parliament, in the first Lok Sabha between 52 and 57,
Yes.
and this has passed just 165, half of it. So you can see the decline there. Last words to you, Parsa. One, just as far as Telangana is concerned, you think if the government fails to get this bill passed, an ordinance may become an option for them?
I don't think an ordinance can be issued to create a state. I think it has to be passed through Parliament, or otherwise it will have to wait till the next Parliament comes in.
Okay, I think on that note we need to end. This is an area which we'll have to wait and watch. From tomorrow we will see how the Parliament runs. Hopefully the government and the opposition will be able to work out some kind of a consensus, as Mr. Dua says, which we have witnessed in this country in the past. Thanks to all my guests, Mr. Basudev Acharia, Saifuddin Soz, Najma, Heptullah, H.K. Dua and Parsa Venketshwar Jr. Please keep watching. We'll come back with another issue in Big Picture same time tomorrow.